Hi, I'm Jenny Cary, and I currently work as a student success coach for Hillsborough School Districts. My background has been with children and families in more intensive mental health settings, but I moved to the district 4 years ago now to support their development of trauma-informed practices within their schools. And so I do some consulting and some strategic planning and some direct practice around that work, mostly working with educators to enhance their capacity to support students in that way. I have a lot of respect for what Susie's done over the years for our community of social workers. I've stayed in contact with her over since having her as a professor at PSU, and as have a number of my cohort members, both in attending trainings that she's offered, as well as consultation groups and things like that she's offered along the way. And I think it's been really, really nice to kind of not only remain connected to folks that I went to school with, but just kind of working with Susie at the various levels of my career, and kind of just getting those reminders and kind of connecting to the work that she has supported, specifically around supervising. I have for a number of years supported PSU students in practicum settings, both when I worked in mental health and now with the school system. And we've collaborated in supporting interns over the years. And I find the work really important, kind of helping to train and, bolster the learning for interns that are in a practice setting. And Susie's been a great support around just clinical supervision methods and practice, field practice, really she's helped me kind of stay connected to the intention of that work, the intention of being a supervisor and being a field, resource for folks. Like, I really want people to be connected to the field, to grow professionally, and it's been through some of her trainings and support that I feel like I've been able to grow in that way that continues to build and grow very good social workers in our community. And that's evidenced by staying in contact with folks over the years, and seeing the great work that they do and seeing the people that they support. You got a little taste of it in grad school, and since then just watching all of the growth in not just my cohort, but all of the folks that my cohort has supported. I also think that it's really important to mention the simplicity of the work that she promotes. It's always felt very digestible. It's always felt very practical. I've done tons of conferences and trainings now. I'm like 14 years into my career. And I love going back to Susie's trainings because the minute we start talking about a theory or a practice, I can connect it to the people that I work with, whether that's a supervisee in a clinical supervision relationship, or a client, or a student, or a teacher, or I can immediately connect to that learning. I've done a lot of training that I struggle to translate what I'm learning to my work. And that's one of the things that I've always really liked about Susie's method. It helps that I work with children and families. That tends to be a lot of the work that she does, but it's just always felt so practical and simple. This work, as important as it is and as complicated as it can become, it's great to be reinforced by somebody I trust, regularly, that our methods are pretty simple, and staying connected and intentional in this really simple way is really important. So I've liked that about the support I've received from her as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Susie's great because it's like in martial arts where they say the person who like perfects the most simple, straightforward move is going to be the most effective, even though it might take them 10 years to perfect that one move. Like that's, and I'm not saying she only has one move, but like she really helps you remember like the graceful basics of the work that are the most effective.
And just the relationship component, like how to stay connected to being in relationship with whoever you're working with, whether it's a supervisee or a client or a family. But just to start there, to be in relationship with them, and everything else sort of falls into place when you can perfect that move, like you said.
Yeah, that's the move right there.
Yeah, it is.
Good. And if somebody was thinking about doing a training with Susie, or like purchasing one of her video trainings that she's been doing, what would you say to them?
I would say that anybody that's looking to kind of enhance the practical application of narrative therapy, the narrative approach, the reflective approach, anybody that's looking for some support around the clinical supervision relationship, or the application of ethics in their clinical work, I think I would always be looking to Susie for a really digestible way of engaging with all of that content. I also think that she's very real. And I've spoken to a lot of people over the years that have worked with her either at PSU or in trainings since, that they hear her voice in their work, or they stop or they get stuck in their work at some point, and then they hear Susie's voice. And I can attest to that being the case over the years. She's almost like my internal dialogue for how this work can look really good and really comfortable. And, so I think anybody that really appreciates just bringing their own self into the work and their own humanity into the work, that she's a really great resource for that. I feel like I reassure people a lot that, like, we are humans. We're coming at this work as people, as real people, and that work is going to be that much more effective if the people on the other, in the other chair, feel that sense of humanity from us. And she's just such a great resource for staying in touch with that. Yeah.